Hey, it's Ed at RecruitME here today, slightly longer and different video because we're going to talk about CV hints, tips, because maybe you've got an interview coming up. Bit about me, I'm Associate Director here at RecruitME and we're based in the East Midlands and we specialise in permanent and ex-forces recruitment across a host of sectors. Our contact details will be in the section below this video. CVs, layout is probably one of the key things that you need to look at. Is it stylised in just Times New Roman, font 12 the whole way through? So it starts with your name, say Ed Jepson, and just carries on in that way. Think of the reader. Think of a newspaper as well. There's different fonts, styles, colours. I'm not saying that it needs to be like a rainbow in any stretch of the imagination, but it needs to be stylised so it grabs the reader's attention. The different sections can be headed, and their font of the description, say your personal profile, is slightly different to your career history and your key achievements within the workplace. So that's one of the things to look at. There's plenty of advice and information out there from companies like ourselves, but also places online. So feel free to Google away, whether you're here in the UK or overseas in somewhere else. There's plenty of options for your CV or resume. And style can be quite important because you want it to grab the reader's attention and make you stand out because you want that job. That's why you've applied for it. What I would say as well is research. That ties into the layout aspects that we've just spoken about. If you're looking to be a telecoms engineer or you're looking to be an IT consultant, look at the different styles of CVs out there. Maybe your colleagues have similar. Don't be afraid to ask, is what I should be saying, about what theirs looks like and how it looks like. So research what people want. Are they starting off with the skills and qualifications at the top and then moving to the career history? Or are they wanting your key tasks and assignments at the top? Because that's what you'll be doing potentially as you move up in your career and developing yourselves. So there's no going to be exact formula for it, but just have a look at what else is out there in the sector at the moment that you want to be in, are in, or have ambitions to join. Profile and about you is a section that I want to talk about because that gives a little insight into the person that you are within the workplace, but also as an individual outside the workplace. So talk about what makes you tick, what you like, what's your fastidious work processes in with the tasks that you're given. So focus very much on you, your skills, and don't be scared of saying your weaknesses or areas that you want to improve. Think of that SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats about yourself in the workplace and just how you can stylize those within that paragraph, 2 paragraphs of an about you section. It's a nice way to either start or finish your CV. So that would be a very good one. Look again at examples, ask people to proofread it because it can be quite text heavy, that aspect. And veer off from saying I work well in a team or as an individual because that's on every CV ever and you want to stand out. So career, job history, key achievements, tasks within the workplace. That is what some people would consider the meat to the bones of a CV, and most employers want to see that. If you're like my age, which is sort of like in the mid-30s, 10 to 15 years is really optimum, but there's no hard and fast rule to say that you have to put that or any more. So you need to then tie that into your CV, ideal CV length, which we'll get to in a bit. So think about how it's presented. I like to see, and a lot of the clients that I work alongside of like to see the most present job role at the top, or the past job role at the top, and going down in descending order to the first job that was on your CV. It may have been a paper round or working in a restaurant somewhere. But those type of things as you get older will naturally drop off the CV. They have on my own and they have on some of my colleagues that I've seen within the office as well. Again, think about the layout. So you've got the company you're working for, the job position and the duration of service with that company. So it could say December 2017 to December 2021, and you've unfortunately been made redundant, or you're looking for a career change or just a job change. Don't be scared of putting things in there such as made redundant, pursued another opportunity within the company. And if you've been with a company for a significant length of your career, say anything over 10 years, and you've had different job roles, don't be scared of breaking those down from what you first came into the organisation as to what you ended up being before you were looking or are now starting to look. So there's no absolute rule in terms of the length of content. Some people like bullet points, some people like paragraph descriptions. It really is up to you. But ideally, probably a blend of both, because the bullet points can identify some of the tasks that were your responsibility within the company. So yeah, key tasks and achievements is something a lot of people like to see. It's not just senior level positions. It can be people that have had some degree of supervisory or management experience in a certain role, or they have had tasks that have been vital in terms of, let's touch upon business development, because it's something that all companies do and need, where they've secured a contract of a certain value, or they have brought on board additional clients in a particular sector that they're working alongside of. So do think about it, and do again get that section proofread, just like we spoke about with the About You paragraph. And I think that would be a really good thing to have, and make sure that it's in that nice date order as you go down. If you need examples, again, Google is your friend, have a look on there. But you can't go far wrong in breaking it down in different texts and fonts, so you have that little bit of standout, and the real meat to the bones of the job descriptions and tasks and key achievements are contained within slightly smaller text to your job description, title, employer, and also the length of service. So yeah, again, we're quite happy to speak to people, particularly ex-forces candidates, and how to break these sections down, which there'll be contact details below in the video description for you to speak to us on. So education, qualifications, skills earned, licenses. So say you are within an engineering setting and you have 18th edition, IPATH, PASMA. Those type of things are very, very pertinent to the type of job roles that you're potentially applying for. And also a good degree of them are able to be used in other sectors and industries. So they show that your ability to learning, they show your ability to stick to something within the workplace. So do utilise them. Education. Now, I've seen CVs with primary schools or even nurseries on. Not really needed. The older you become, you will see that naturally things like GCSEs, O-levels, GCEs drop off your CV because they're not relevant within the workplace, because it's more based on you qualified by experience or your professional qualifications such as Marla if you're a letting agent. Those type of things are very, very relevant. So do think about the relevance of your education settings to education qualifications, to the job setting that you're applying to be within. I'd always lay these out after the career history section, but if it is, say, a senior role where they're looking for degrees and certain qualifications or tickets, licenses, they can sneak above. It depends, and you will see that when we talk about application forms in a little bit. So personal, this is a little part where you can tell them about you. So it can be your family setup, where you live, your pursuits that you do outside of work. You may play amateur football, you may do amateur dramatics. It is really, as it says, a section as personal about you. It can be that little bit of insight that is not all about career and professionalism on your CV. So it talks about maybe your dissertation at university. It may talk about your skateboarding, your love of cars. All of those aspects that are in there are really unique to you. Doesn't have to be a big section, and it is very often the smallest section other than your personal details and contact information on a CV. But yeah, definitely a nice section to just give that little bit of an insight into who you are. So that's the CV hints and tips, but we do have 8 extras for you in this video. These are based on our experience, what's happening in the office minute by minute, day by day. So yeah, the first one is ideal length. We get asked this a lot, and believe me, we've seen CVs that encompass that much to 17 pages, I think was one that I had on an engineering job a few years ago. Far too much. It's like reading a university dissertation. So ideal length is 2 to 3 pages, maximum of 4. I won't go much over that, and you can fit all of the contents that you need within those 3, 2 or 4 pages. Next one is cover letters and cover notes. I really do like to see these with every application. It helps the recruiter or HR manager or the hiring manager, whoever's looking at your CV, really get an insight into you as a character. Your CV is very much about what you've done. Your cover letter, your cover note can be about what you want to do with them and go on to do in your career. Very, very useful to give a big insight into the person that they're getting in for interview and hopefully employing. Pre-application research. This may sound quite daft because you've got that job description there in front of you, but don't be scared of going on their website, social media platforms, review websites to have a look about that company. Glassdoor here in the UK and in the US do a lot of information on what past, present employees say about the employers. So have a look. Is there some ethos aspects? Is there a why they are there? Is there a key statement or facts about that business that are really, really relevant? Where my brother works, they really do have a whole list of keywords that their staff aspire to from the very first interview and application right the way through their career with that company. So have a look and see how you can adapt that into your cover note. Next one is application forms. Always tricky because these can be used a lot in the public sector or the third sector within the UK, and they're not for everyone. But if you are doing them, it is because they are a need, a requirement for this application. So go through them and fill it in as much as physically possible. Now you can have your CV open on a separate tab and copy and paste aspects in, such as career history, things like notice periods and that. They ask a lot of information because it is relevant to them. There are a lot of companies that we and organisations we're working with now that are starting to move away from them because of the time and the pressures on employing people. So just be aware, if you do have a job role that needs an application form filling in, go for it, and do go for it through taking your time, just like you would with any other application. Next one is end dates on applications. Some job postings you will see in some sectors, certainly here in the UK, but I have seen them utilised in the US, Canada and Europe, are closing dates or end dates for applications. Don't put that off from you putting your application, say, on the 10th in, because that's when you've got time to fill everything out and get everything over, and the application deadline is the 19th. If they're running it to the application deadline as an organisation, because they've made that decision, they will collect all CVs and applications in that time frame and review them after that date or on that date. So don't let it concern you at all in how you're going about it. Don't feel that you have to get in early if there's a closing date, or you have to get in on the last minute. Make sure you just follow it through and just be aware of that date. Even make a note in your phone diary so you've got that there to relay to when you're expecting a call back for interview, or to go over your application as there's some additional questions. Next one's keywords. Keywords can be something that I just spoke about. It links back to the company that you're looking to join, their mission statement, their ethos, their reason, their why. So sometimes you may want to use their company keywords and ethos within your own application to show them in essentially you have done your research and you are on board with what they do as a business and organisation. Very quite nice little hint and tip there, just to stand out from other people who are just going through and sending their CV in without any effort. So do take that little bit of time if it is a really good, big company or a company that you're wanting to join. Contact details. Contact details, they really do need to get hold of you. So your name, what you like to be known as, your location. So for myself, it would be Grantham, Lincolnshire. You don't have to put your full address, you don't have to put your postcode. Contact numbers, email address, maybe even a social media link such as a LinkedIn profile, because this is for a professional CV. So do utilise those. There is still some people where I get CVs through and they've not got a phone number or email address, and it is really frustrating because they've got good CVs and not having the contact details defeats the purpose of getting hold of them. So make sure they are on there and you're able to access those means of communication once you've applied for a job. So that's it for today's video. Really hope that you liked what we've had to say for this CV hints and tips, plus the 8 additional or extra hints and tips that we found, some hidden gems there for you. We are sure, based on what we do day in, day out. If you have enjoyed this content, do like and subscribe to the channel, add some questions and comments in there. Myself and my colleague Devon will be on hand to help and assist. And yeah, we've got some future videos coming up about career changes, interview tips and interviewer tips as well, which will be due to be released over the coming weeks. Thank you very much.